Guys, what's going on? Welcome to Serial at Midnight, the official YouTube channel of serialatmidnight.com. My name is Heath, and I'm glad you're here. And today, here is the Southern Museum of Flight. That's right. This is an entire museum dedicated to aviation. I guess maybe the South's part in the history of aviation. They're supposed to have like 100 planes and exhibits here. So we're going to go inside, check it out, and see what's going on. Let's see what we can find. So this facility seems to be divided into a couple of different areas. There's one area focused on the heritage of Southern aviation. There's another area that's dedicated to the military aspect of aviation. And then the room that I'm in right now has a lot of interesting things about the history of aviation. And I gotta show you guys this. So this is a high altitude suit meant to keep a pilot alive at high altitudes when life support would not be available, when pressure would be high, extreme temperatures. And this thing looks straight out of a science fiction movie. Even the helmet kind of looks like something out of Buck Rogers to me. And then this one over here, they got another suit that is, I don't know, I feel like I'm in an alien movie, like a sci-fi movie. But this is super cool, super creepy. I kind of want to take it home with me. This helmet reminds me of the cover of that Black Sabbath album. You know the one I'm talking about? I think Robert Downey Jr. wears a t-shirt of that Black Sabbath album in one of the Avengers movies. This guy knows how to party. And one exhibit over, Vincent Price? I'm actually only joking. This is actually Major George E. Pretty Jr., who, according to this plaque of information right here, is the 6th he's ranked the 6th among American pilots of all wars, one of the flying aces of World War II, and these are his medals. Check out this huge model of a battleship, World War II era battleship, and then right here on the other side of it is this massive aircraft carrier. Does this remind anybody else of the USS Flag, that G.I. Joe aircraft carrier? Oh, I always wanted that thing so bad. But this one's even cooler. Oh, holy crap, you guys. They have a flight simulator. Let's check it out. Well, that didn't go so well. Let's check out the early aviation hangar. See what's happening in here. I have a 1903 Cadillac. That's pretty cool. I like this 1920s biplane. That's pretty sweet. Kind of want to get out on the wing and do some dancing while I'm flying in the air. And this is a Fokker DV11. The V stands for version 11, invented by a Dutchman named Anthony Fokker. And it is only now that I see this, and I see this guy, and I see how his name is spelled, that I have connected Robotech to this. Because if you've seen Robotech, the pilot, Roy Fokker, was like the ace pilot. I bet he was named after this guy, this innovator in early 20th century airfare. When we come around the corner, we have this replica of a very early airplane. Look at the size of this thing. This is taking up this entire, like almost the entirety of this room. This is like a Wright Brothers era early airplane. Onward to the general aviation hangar. Wow. So this plane right here is actually a display that we can get into. We can actually climb into the cockpit and see what it would be like to actually pilot this plane. And luckily I am wearing my Han Solo shirt today, so I am qualified to pilot this. So let's climb inside. Turn on the landing lights. Landing lights on. You know what? Let's kick up the party. Strobes. What's that? You want a beat? Well, I'll turn on the boost pump. I love everything about this airplane. I love the colors. I love the Falcon or the Eagle or whatever that is on this airplane. I love the wings. These have been detached because for space, I guess. But I love this reminds me of the Legend of Zelda, like the Triforce or something like that. But like everything, this is the coolest little small single person plane. I think it is just amazing. But apparently I'm incorrect because, well, it's the pits. And this helicopter I love so much. It's apparently, it was designed in 1980. It reminds me so much of the one from Magnum PI. I want to pretend that I'm TC, hop into this thing, and just fly around Hawaii. Who's with me? Let's check out the military wing of this facility, of this museum. Here, this guy's going to tell us where to go and what to do. Sir, do you know where I'm supposed to go?
Welcome to Moden Field, soldier. If you're reporting for flight training, check in over at Hangar 1. We have several training aircraft in the pattern, so you'll have a chance to see what you'll be flying.
All right, so we're headed to Hangar 1. This entire wing of this museum seems to be dedicated to the Tuskegee Airmen, and all of the dioramas are Tuskegee Airmen being trained as they would have been on the airfield in the 40s. So that's pretty cool. Here's another one. These are training airplanes. This is the AT-6 Texan Advanced Trainer. Very, very cool. I don't know if the video gives you the sense of scale of how big these planes are, how imposing, but it's very impressive to be standing so close to one of them. This story is fascinating. It says that on April 4th, 1943, they were doing practice bombing runs with a B-25 bomber over Lake Murray in South Carolina. This is actually a picture of this lake where they would target this island, and you can see the craters that were created by the bombs. But in 1943, this plane went up, one of the engines went out, and the plane went into the water. A guy in a boat drove out to save the crew, but the plane itself, the bomber, sank, and there it stayed for decades and decades. And then years and years later, they were able to raise it out of the water, and this is the picture of them pulling the plane, the bomber, out of the water. And here at the Southern Museum of Flight, they have been doing restoration work to try to put it back together, get it as clean as they could, keep it from further oxidizing. But what's even cooler than that, to me, is that this is the actual remains of the B-25 bomber here at this display. This is super cool. So we can see through the glass inside. You can see the corrosion from the water. And then, like right here, you can see the rending of the metal. Oh, you guys, this is cool. This is like looking at history. And then these are the weapons that they recovered from the plane. These were still attached to the plane because there was no time to get any of this stuff off. This is seriously like some Rambo stuff right here. Murdoch, I'm your worst nightmare. Oh, this is super cool, you guys. I really dig it. Check out these guns, man. Check out these guns. This is a watch that they found in the wreckage. It belonged to one of the pilots, and it has an engraving on the watch that says Ruth Tabab 3543. And they were able to recover that watch all those years later. And this is a painting of it's a portrait of the plane at the bottom of the sea. So I have bad news, because I found Starscream. Starscream, I know what's going on. I know you're in disguise, robots in disguise. I know what's going on, and I know you're pretending that you're dilapidated and you're worn out, but I know that you're just waiting. You're just waiting for the right moment to strike. You're in there, watching, listening to me. Optimus Prime will always be cooler than you. Okay, that last one was too far. I was over the line, and I'm getting out of here. Well, guys, that's going to do it. This has been a really interesting, unique experience for me. I've never been here before. In fact, until a matter of months ago, I didn't even know it existed. I've only known this was here for about a year, and it was because we drove by a sign for it. But if you're in the area, I would recommend checking it out. Though it's touted as a Southern museum, there's not a whole lot of Southern limitations to this. There's a few things that tend to be very geared towards local history, but not a lot. By and large, this is just a general aviation museum with lots of displays, lots of planes that you can stand by, that you can, and you saw some that you can actually get into. It's just a really cool flight history museum, complete with planes, airplanes. Having said all that, I do appreciate you guys for tagging along on the field trip. I will also say that the entire time that I was here, I was the only customer in the museum. Like there are people working inside. There are, I think they're setting up for a wedding reception actually, which would be super cool to have a wedding reception or like a birthday party here. I might have to have my next birthday party at this museum. But I was the only customer, so outside of the staff, it was just me, which is kind of cool because I kind of had the run of the place. Lay down on the floor, take a nap. Don't do that. I didn't do that. That's just a joke. Guys, thank you so much for tagging along. I appreciate you so very much, and I will catch you later.